This is a short video on performing selections in ArcMap. These tools are commonly used to select subsets of data from your layers, which you can then export as new layers, or you can use further in other processing tools. There are three types of selections that you can perform. The first is the interactive selection. With this, you can use the Select Features tool to create selections directly from the map. Select by attributes is performed by specifying a SQL equation that will pull out your desired information from the attribute table. In the select by attribute, we may want to select census tracts that have a population greater than 10,000, or we might want to select out highways that are only designated as interstates. With the Select by Location tool, you can specify layers that fall within certain boundaries of other layers. For example, we might want to select all the stores that fall within Leon County specifically. To better demonstrate and give an understanding of these, we'll jump into ArcMap and we'll do a few of them. So the first thing I'd like to show you with this is interactive selection. Probably the most common out of all of them. It's quick and easy, and a lot of times you don't even realize you're doing it. It becomes so subconscious. There's a tool, gives you a little information about it. And what you can do is you can click the drop down and you can choose how you'd like to select things. I prefer using the rectangles, what I've become most comfortable with. And when you have it selected, you can see on your pointer there's a little box next to the mouse pointer to tell you that. If you were to select, just select elements, it just becomes a regular pointer. So we come back here, and we can just click on the map and we can select specific counties or points or anything that we click on. Also, we can draw a box around these, and anything that we touch with that box, or if you have a circle, you can see that it selects those three that I've touched. If I want to make it a little bigger, I can select those four. If I click off of the layer, it's going to unselect them, or I can use the Clear Selected Features button here as well, right next to my Select Features button, and that'll get rid of my selection. You can also hold the Shift button to select multiple features that might not all be next to each other. So that's holding the Shift button. I can select things all over the state. I can unselect that. And you can also see that if I open up the attribute table, bring that over here, as I select things, it gets highlighted in the table. So there's Alachua County, I believe Baker is right there, Bay is over here somewhere. There we go. So you can see that those get selected as I go through them. And then if I come to show my selected records, I can see there's my 5 that I have selected on the map. You can also clear the selection from the table if you'd like. So that's the basics of selecting interactively. It's fairly easy and straightforward. You are just really taking your mouse pointer and clicking or drawing boxes around things that you would like to work with. The other thing that's important with selecting interactively is you can see here that if I put these points on the map and I draw a box around, it's going to select everything, but I might only really want to select my county. So the way I can do that is, well, simply I can just click on the county I want, or counties, without touching any points. But if I unselect that, if I come here in my table of contents and go list by selection, you can see that I have these toggled as selectable. So what I want to do is turn off my selection points, make it so they're not selectable. So now when I come back over here with my select tool and I draw a box around these, it doesn't select them. It only selects my RDSTF regions layer, and it tells me I have 10 of them selected. I can toggle this on and off as well, or I can clear my selection from here. The next type of selection that I'll do is a select by attribute. So with this, we can get to it two different ways. You can either come up here to the top and go to selection and click select by attributes, and it brings up a little select by attributes box where you can build a SQL query here. Or we can open up the layer that we want to select from. So in this case, I'm going to do my counties layer, or my RDSTF regions, and go to open attribute table. And I come back over to show all records. And this button right here is select by attributes as well. So directly from the attribute table, I can select by attributes, and it brings up that same window. So it's whichever one you're most comfortable with. It's two ways to get to the same place. So now that I have my query window up, I would like to select counties based on what region they're in. That's what we're going to do right now. So you can see here I have all of them designated by region that they belong to. So if I come over here, I never even have to type anything. I can say create a new selection, RDSTF region. I just double click it and it shows up here. I want to say equals. And then because I have this highlighted, it's a little hard to see, but it's faintly surrounded in gray. I can say get unique values, and it'll pull all the values that it finds within that field. If I click on county FIPS and say get unique values, it's going to pull all the numbers. So I want where RDSTF region equals region 1, and I can just double click region 1, and I can verify if I'd like, and it says that this works, and I can hit apply. And you can see it pulled out my counties that fell within region 1. There's 10 of them here, all region 1, and they're highlighted up here as well. I'll have a separate video for building SQL queries. We can get a little bit more in depth with that, but this isn't the video to really go into it. So that's basic building a SQL query and selecting by attributes. If I'd like, I can clear this, come back in, and maybe I want to select them by county, certain counties. I can do county name equals Alachua, or I might want county name equals Bradford. So I can select both of these at the same time, and I can hit apply, and it pulls up those two there. So that's selecting attributes. You can also select from a current selection if you'd like. So for example, we'll do this. We will select interactively first, and we'll select a bunch of counties that are across different regions. And out of these counties that I might be looking at for whatever region, I want all of them that fall within region 3, or region 4 actually. So I can pull this up, and rather than create a new selection, I can say select from current selection, and I'll get rid of this, where RDSTF region equals region 4, and I can hit apply, and it pulls out those two from what I had selected. So you can see that it doesn't actually pull all of region 4, just the region 4s that were from my first selection. So we'll get rid of these, we'll clear our selection. The last thing we're going to do is select by location. So this is a lot of times selecting from a current selection as well. And what we're going to do here in this example is we're going to select a few counties here, and I'm going to want to select all of my points that fall within these counties. So what I can do is, if I already have these counties selected, I can come out to select by location, and I can say select features from, and I want to select features from my selection points, and my source layer is going to be RDSTF regions. and I can say use selected features, because otherwise if I didn't select this, it would select all of the points that fall within the regions, um, which would be all of them. So I'm going to say use selected features, so it's only going to use those three. And in this case, I want to say intersect. There's a bunch of different options here. If I wanted, I could say that are within the source layer. This usually has to do with maybe lines or other polygons that run across the borders, but in this case I just have points, so I'm just going to say the points that intersect with the source layer, and I can hit apply. And you can see there at the top it selects all those points that have fallen within those three counties that I selected. Um, if I'd like, I could select the county and I could make a new selected layer out of it, which is what I did with Calhoun County. So you can see here, if I get rid of those, there's just Calhoun County, and I can do the same thing. I can say select by location, points from Calhoun County, which is that separate layer that I made, and say intersect, and I can hit OK. And it'll select only those points, those 4 points that fall within Calhoun County. So that is the basics introduction to selecting attributes, whether it's interactively selecting attributes, selecting um, by attributes, or selecting by location. So here, if you have any questions, you can contact me here. These three sites are from the Esri ArcGIS resources page. They go a little bit more in depth, and you can get a better understanding of how to make proper selections, or maybe get more complex with your SQL queries.